This conference will now be recorded.
Hello all, welcome to the second session on data structures. So let's recap what exactly we talked about in the first session. In the first session we talked about what is data structures, right? So we have various data structures like arrays, linked lists, trees, many other things, and we mostly emphasized on time complexity, right? So we mostly emphasized on time complexity. We talked about big O of 1, big O of log n in terms of binary search, right? We talked about big O of n, right? That is when we have to scan all the elements in an array. So we have many other time complexities. This is just an example in order to explain you that how exactly to calculate the time complexity. If we want to, if someone asks us, let's say, get me the element at 40th index in the array, then it requires order of 1 complexity, because in a single go you will be able to tell that what element it is. If someone gives you a sorted array and asks you to find an element, then the time complexity is log n, because in every step you will be eliminating half of the array. So you will discard half of the elements in each pass, right? And when you are given an unsorted array and you want to find an element, then there is no other way. You have to start from the very beginning and you have to scan till the end. So it requires maximum of n searches in the worst case, right? So that's why complexity is order of n. And you can notice that we always talk about the worst case. We do not talk about the best case, and we do not talk about the average case. Now let us try to understand this with some examples. So let us take some problems. So let's consider that there is an array of 1000 elements, right? There is an array of 1000 elements, and we need to tell if there are duplicates in the array or not. That means check whether an array has duplicate elements or not. This is what we need to find out. What do you think can be the solution to this? The simple solution, which in which we are not thinking more on the optimization part, that is called as the brute force solution. So brute force is what we use normally. Brute force solution is a term that we use to convey a solution where we do not talk about optimizations at all. This is a normal simple solution. Might be it is not efficient, right? So initially when someone asks you or give you a problem, then you can first start with the brute force approach, where you do not think more on optimization, rather you just think on how to solve it, and even if it is not efficient, it's fine. That is brute force, right? So the very first brute force solution you can think of is that, okay, let me take what is the element on the first, what is the first element. So take what is the first element, right? So for example, let's say this element is 67, right? Now what you do is you go through the entire array and check if 67 is present or not. If 67 is present, you will say yes, this array has duplicates. If it is not present, then what you need to do, you need to move to the second index, right? So let's say your array looks something like this. Let's take something 67, 58, 54, 90, 69, right? Again let's say 60, again let's say 58. Consider this is how it is, and many elements are there. Think it this way, right? Now in this case you started with 67. So you have two pointers. Basically, one is pointing at the first element in the array, right? So you have two pointers. The first pointer points to the first element in the array, and the second pointer points to second element initially. That means the first pointer is at 67 and second pointer is at 58. Now you see both are not matching, so that's why you keep on moving your second pointer. Your second pointer will move to 54 and you compare the first pointer's element with the second pointer's element, right? So basically you compare 67 and 58, does not match, so you go next. You check 67 with 54, does not match, so you move ahead. Check 67 with 90, does not match. Check 67 with 69, does not match. Check 67 with 58, no match, right? Then in that case, in the first go, you checked all the elements and you did not find a match. Now what you need to do in next step? Next step is the first pointer, if there is no match, then the first pointer should be incremented by 1. That means the first pointer now points to 58, right? And the second pointer will point here. The second pointer points at 54. So now you check 58 and 54, both are not matching. So what you need to say, you need to move your second pointer ahead. That means first pointer still points to 58, second pointer points to 90. Does not match, second pointer still incremented, so 58, 69 does not match. Again, next second pointer is incremented, 58, 58, you find a match. And then you says, yes, this array has duplicates. So let me show you. In the very first iteration, you check 67 with 58, then you check 67 with 54, you check 67 with 90, 67 with 69, and 67 with 58, right? And after incrementing the pointers, in the next iteration you check 58, 54, 58, 90, 58, 69, and 58, 50. This is where you find the match, right? So you see, you are able to find your answer, but the number of tries required are more. That means in the worst case, let's say if it does not find a match at all, then in that case, for this 67 everything has to be checked. For this 58, again everything has to be checked. For this 54, everything has to be checked. For 90, everything has to be checked. So the complexity here, based on this approach, so the complexity of this approach is O of n square. That means if there are n elements, then in the worst case you have to scan n into n elements. That means if you have an array of 1000 elements, then in the worst case you might have to scan 1000 into 1000 elements. That means 10 lakh elements. And this time complexity is really huge. It is not a good way of solving a problem, but when some interviewer gives you such a problem, then you can say that, okay, let me think of a brute force approach which comes to my mind immediately, and you can answer this. You should not stop there. You should say, now let me think to optimize this. That's how you need to approach. Because you have given a solution, but this is not a very convincing solution right now, because a lot of scans are required, a lot of work is required internally, and this is not efficient at all. This is a brute force approach, right? Now interviewer will ask, okay, how can you optimize this? Then you need to think of optimizing, right? That means as of now your complexity is order of n square, you want to reduce it down. That means you want to make it lesser than this, right? So what can be the approach that you can think of? Just think of it. So the approach we can use in this case is, you can think of sorting this array. You can think of sorting this array. That means this was your initial array, right? This is your initial array, original. After sorting, your array becomes something like this: 54, 58, 58, and then 67, 69, 90, something like this. Now again, sorting comes with some cost. It's not that you say sorting done and it happens. It requires again some time complexity. And the best sorting techniques, so best sorting techniques have a time complexity of order of n log n. That means if you have an array of 1000 elements, then it will be 1000 into log n is 10, right? That means the 1000 into 10, that means 10,000 times you have to do shuffling and all. So best sorting techniques have a time complexity of n log n, which is significantly less, than order of n square, which we have seen earlier. And what are these sorting techniques? So two important sorting techniques are there. We have quicksort and merge sort. These are the two best sorting techniques available, and both of them gives a sorting complexity or time complexity of order of n log n, which is significantly lesser than order of n square. That means it's better than n square. Now we have sorted it, but still we have not arrived to the solution. But you know that after sorting, our array is like this, and already we have spent n log n times of time complexity, right? So to do this, we have already spent order of n log n. Now what to do next? What to do next now? Next we can think of starting from the very beginning. That means you keep two pointers at the beginning and the next pointer. Now you check whether 54 matches with 58 or not. If it does not match, you increment both the pointers. That means in first go you check 54 with 58. If it does not match, increment both the pointers. That means now you check 58 with 58, because your first pointer comes here and second pointer comes here, right? Now you see there is a match. You can understand that, okay, first 54 with 58, then 58 with 58, then 58 with 57, 67 with 69, 69 with 90. That means you just have to iterate through this array only once, not many times now, right? So at the max, let's say in this case we found a match. Let's say if match is not there, let's say this is some other number 59. Think of this way. Then in that case, how many maximum tries are required? You see this 59 with 67, right? 67 with 69, 69 with 90. That's it. That means you just have to scan over this array only once. And what is the time complexity to scan the array once? The time complexity is O of n, because we are at the max scanning only n elements. nothing much. And with this, if you find a match, because if an element is repeated or duplicated, you will find that 2 consecutive times it will be there, right? In our case, for example, if let's say this is 58, you know that you are finding this together consecutive. So you will definitely find it together and you can see that, okay, there is a match. If it is not there, then there is no match. So in a single pass, you can tell whether there is a match or not. So you have approached the answer, you got the answer. So basically in this solution or in this optimized solution, you do two things. You did sorting plus scanning array once. Correct? Now for sorting, what is the time complexity you spend? Order of n log n. And for scanning the array, what is the time complexity you spend? Order of n. Right? Now let's consider the array size is 1000. Then this n log n is what? So let me just write it down. Let's consider that array size is 1000 elements. Then n log n will be like 1000 into log n is 10 plus 1000. That means that means 10,000 plus 1000 equal to what? 11,000. So don't you feel in front of 10,000 this 1000 can be ignored? This is a smaller number, and when you talk about very huge arrays, this number will be significantly smaller compared to the bigger number. So that's why when we say order of log n plus order of n, we can say that this is similar to order of n log n, and we can ignore the smaller thing. So I hope this gives you a clarity on what is the time complexity in this case. So in the previous approach, where we were for each element we were scanning the entire array, the time complexity was order of n square. But in this case, when we have done sorting and then figuring out, the time complexity has significantly reduced, and the time complexity is n log n, which is significantly lesser than order of n square. So I hope you understood this explanation, and I will end this video now, and I will come up with the next sessions on arrays. Thank you.